Chapter 2, Fire on the Mountain. When we set up the story, the book, the introduction, you mentioned the term allegory. Okay, an allegory is a type of story where there are characters that kind of represent something more than just a character, where they stand for something. Okay, and as we go through this story, we see how they are established, and then we get to see them if they change or develop or grow throughout. But Piggy, he, especially through this chapter here, he stands for that intelligence. He stands for that connection of trying to hold on to what they should do, the society, connecting them, from the way that they were before the wreck to now. And you see them struggling to fall, and then they're starting to fall apart. And this is only chapter 2, but we're a sixth of the way through the book. And we see that desire early on in chapter 1 where they want to stay focused. We need a leader, we need to do this, we need to have a society, here's what we need to do, let's have a meeting, let's do these things. So they're really starting to be focused. But then it starts to go a little crazy here. No one's listening to Piggy. Piggy had the idea of plans to get rescued in the fire and these different things, and no one listens to him because he's Piggy. No one listens to him towards the end here when he's holding the conch shell. And that's the rule, is that whoever holds the conch shell gets to talk and not be interrupted. And then Jack, oh well, it doesn't work up here on the mountain. Well, he's just making stuff up now, disregarding the rules. And what's Piggy going to do? Is he going to stand up to him? Do people stand up to bullies typically? Probably not. Okay. Should he? Yeah, but what would happen? Well, he'd probably get pummeled. I mean, they snatched his glasses off his face. They didn't say, "Can I borrow your glasses so we can try to light this fire?" I mean, it was almost comical when they got up there. They forgot about everything else, like, let's make a fire. And that was the main focus. So they all run up a mountain, make this huge bunch of gathering of stuff, and then they're like, okay, let's start it. You have matches? Almost comically, because no one has matches. So then Jack, sticks, rub sticks together. Yeah, that's how you did. So they went to make this fire without really thinking it through. Did you kind of follow that? They're not planning it out. They're just doing whatever they want, whenever they want. I mean, at the end of this chapter, what happened to that fire once it got going? Could they control it? They made this huge blaze. Did they need to make a huge blaze? No. And then the wind picks up, and you can't control it. So it starts scorching an entire side of a mountain. It gets so hot, the forest fire, the trees explode. And these kids up there yell, "Snakes! Snakes!" because they see those creepers and vines lit up, shooting up into the air as those trees catch on fire. So a beautiful visual. However, they're torching the island. And so Piggy goes, "Oh, good, well, nice job, boys. Now we'll have some scorched fruit, burned fruit." They're not thinking, okay? And they were, karm or whatever, punished them for not thinking. Excuse me. So those are, that's an important, we see how they treat Piggy there again. Piggy, even towards the end of there, he goes, where's that one little one? We don't even know how many there are. Roth goes, "I told you to take a tally. I told you to go around and get people's names so we know how many people we have." How was I supposed to do that? You guys run off to go surveying, and 2 minutes later, they're kids, guys. They're 5, 6, 7-year-olds. They run off and go play and swim because, yay, no parents, it's recess. There's no control. We have no authority. How could I? And then they figure out, well, where's that one boy? And then they look around and they notice that so-and-so's missing. Well, maybe he went down to the... Because if he went back to the beach, back to where they were familiar with, well, where was the fire heading? Down. So what can we infer happened to that one kid? He's gone. Got trapped. Dead. So they're not even there, what, a day? And the kid's already dead? I mean, we don't see a body or anything at this point, or, but this kid is not there. Everyone else is, so it's reasonable to think that that kid would be there as well. However, he's not. And so that kind of realization is probably very focuses them early on, right there at that moment. Page 35, which is about the 4th page of the chapter. The kid that we're talking about is the one with the mulberry-colored birthmark on his face. Okay? That's his identifying feature. He's not relevant or important enough to have a name at this point. But he mentions this thing called a beastie. Okay, and this is the first reference of another being, another thing on the island besides that. Well, we did have the pig, excuse me, but now we have this thing called the beastie that's pretty scary. It saw the snake thing ever so big. He saw it where? In the woods. Okay, they're talking about you can't have a beastie, a snake thing on an island this size. You only get them in big countries like Africa or India. He says the beastie came in the dark. Well, then he couldn't see it. Well, did you hear that? So we have this, in the dark, kids seeing things. And not a lot of people, they were sleeping, so they couldn't see it. So this one kid saw the beastie, and he mentioned it. So that's how this kid, the mulberry-colored birthmark kid, became relevant to the story at this particular time. This was his introduction, so that when we see his disappearance in a few pages, it means something. And they go on and on talking about the beastie, and this beastie is going to be very relevant in the next couple chapters. But this was the first time that it was discussed openly and such. Regarding the fire, it's a big deal. They want to, you could have the fire on your beach, okay. Are the flames going to be what attracts a ship, folks? Or is it the smoke? The smoke. Okay, because the smoke should be able to just go up into the sky miles and miles and miles. And so, since the world is curved, if you didn't know that, the horizon is only a few miles out to water. You're not going to be able to see a fire. So you need to be able to see that line going up into the sky so that over the curve of the earth, several miles away, they can see it and hone in on it. Maybe a plane flying over. Okay? And so the best place would be to put it the highest elevation, which is the mountain. However, that could cause quite a bit of problems for getting wood up there. And you don't need a whole bunch of wood to get the smoke going up there, but they went and just put a whole bunch. Now, Jack says that the hunters, his tribe, he goes, you altos, you can be in charge now, the tenors next week, So they're delegating this role to people to keep in charge. Do you see how Jack is becoming more and more important? He's in charge of the choir. Well, who cares about choir? No, but they're hunters. So he's in charge of hunting food. Now he's also in charge of the people keeping the fire. He's becoming pretty valuable. Okay? Keep that in mind. As people become more and more valuable, more and more important, don't they usually want something? More and more what? Maybe power. Think about that. Okay? Think about that. Good. So the fire was key. All of the wood gathering. They don't plan ahead. Well, how are we going to light it? They don't plan ahead. How are we going to control it? Okay? And so we see these kids kind of being, kind of acting like kids now. And we see their mistakes and their inexperience and their, just kids. Okay? You guys would probably make mistakes, and you're much, much older than these guys are. Okay? But Piggy says, we need to make huts. We're going to be here a while. Okay? They did have the good idea. We won't let the fire go during the night, so we're not going to burn our resources because, well, they're not going to see smoke at night. Okay, well, that makes sense. It's a good idea. Okay? So, we need to have our time on the beach. We need to get our, a way of life because we're going to be here a while. Yes, we are still working towards being rescued and escaping this island, but we need to live and we need to be able to thrive. And that means we need the focus and the order. And Piggy gets to go off on his, on his podium here in a little bit, his soapbox, especially in the next few chapters, where he gets to, we need this. We need this structure. We need this order. I, the conch, shall be quiet. You've said that I'd be able to talk. And, you see them pretty much verbally slapping him down left and right, that he has no power, which is already contradicting those norms, those rules that they want established. And just like Jack said, we're British. We're good at everything. And so they are trying to keep those, that way of life from their earlier existence pre-wreck. They're trying to transplant that onto this island, and then we'll get to see how it functions and whether it works or not. Okay.